In this episode, we're going to do a bit of a deep dive into the Big Five, why the Big Five is so important to the African safari industry, the history of the Big Five, best places you can see the Big Five. Very briefly, lion, leopard, elephant, rhino, and buffalo make up the Big Five.
So lions live in prides, and they're powerful predators that actually you will most often see lying under a tree in the middle of the day digesting their food. You will see them hunting in the early morning and the late evening if you're lucky enough when you're out on your game drive. They are an iconic species, and it is a very popular animal that people hope to see when they are on safari. The best locations to go if you want a chance to see lion are probably the Masai Mara in Kenya, the Serengeti in Tanzania, and the Kruger in South Africa.
Leopard, probably the more elusive of the Big Five, very hard to spot, often always on people's bucket list. We want to see leopard, we haven't seen a leopard. Reason why they're so elusive, they're solitary, they're often more active at night, they only hunt at night, they're often climbing trees. If they're making a kill, they'll drag it into a bush or they'll drag it up a tree. Very hard to spot, very stealthy, but a beautiful big cat, often on the top list I've seen of the Big Five. Places to see them. Sabi Sands has a reputation in the Greater Kruger for seeing leopard sightings, and then also parts of the Serengeti is also famous for seeing leopards.
Definitely the biggest of the Big Five, very hard to miss if Ellie is in the area. Can be extremely vocal, can be extremely quiet. Best seen in game parks like Chobe in Botswana, Kruger in South Africa, and Amboseli. Always a firm favorite with clients. Always amazed to see clients' faces when they come face to face with an elephant in the wild that they've not seen before. The sheer presence of an elephant is incredible. They tend to be in herd, the females and the young, and the males tend to be solitary, probably behind the lion in the most asked for of the Big Five.
Yes, so the rhinoceros, the two main species in Africa now are the black and the white rhino. Very sadly, both are critically endangered due to poaching. The white rhino are larger and more social, and you're more likely to see those in family groups, whereas the black rhino are more solitary and elusive. If you particularly want to see a rhino, then the very best places to look are going to be Etosha in Namibia, Kruger in South Africa, and also the private reserves in South Africa neighbouring the Kruger National Park.
Tough, unpredictable, often seen in big herds, also very dangerous. Buffalo can be very aggressive towards other wildlife if it's coming close to its calves, and is also equally as dangerous to humans. So, if you're on a walking safari or you're on a game walk and you're coming close or near a herd of buffalo, generally the guide will keep you at a safe distance. Very commonly seen though, buffalo, you'll see it across places like Kruger Park, the Masai Mara, Chobe. Very spectacular animal to see in the wild.
The best places to see the Big Five, if you are restricted in terms of a park and you definitely want to tick off the Big Five, highly recommended Kruger National Park and the Greater Kruger, which is made up of a lot of private game reserve that have knocked their fences down with the Kruger, opening up a huge area within South Africa. Your chances of seeing the Big Five in the Kruger and the Greater Kruger is really good. I would normally recommend you do at least a 4-day safari, if not longer, just to increase the chances of spotting the wildlife. I would also recommend that perhaps you do a couple of areas within the Kruger just to increase that likelihood of seeing the Big Five. Another great area is the Masai Mara.
So in the Masai Mara, you not only have the chance of seeing the Big Five, particularly cats. They do get good cat sightings there. You also have the chance of seeing the Great Migration in the right season. So that gives you a very wide range of wildlife that you have an excellent chance of seeing. And with the rivers there, you also have a good option of getting to see hippopotamus and crocodiles.
Yeah, Serengeti.
Serengeti also excellent for lion, elephant and migrating herds. Not as good for seeing all the Big Five, but plenty of wildlife. Serengeti's got those big plains, so for spotting those wildlife, you'll definitely see in the Serengeti.
Chobe National Park, fantastic park in Botswana, easily accessible from Vic Falls. You can do a day tour from Vic Falls. But another unique thing thing about Chobe National Park is there's several operators offering boat cruises up on the Chobe River. You will come across a variety of wildlife, especially elephant, and it makes for iconic photographs of the elephant in the tall grasses, something that I can highly recommend to anyone who's going to be up in that part of the world.
Manage your expectations because no wildlife sighting can ever be guaranteed in the wild. However, the longer you spend on safari, the better chance you have of seeing a wider range of different species. If you're focusing on the big five, leopards and rhinos are going to be the hardest to see. Having said which, some people see a leopard on their first ever game drive and don't quite appreciate how special that can be. Having a good guide makes all the difference, so if you're visiting a lodge where there are residence guides who are doing the game drives in the concession in the same place every day, they will have a very good chance of knowing where the animals have been seen recently, so that does definitely increase your chance of getting to see the animals at the top of your wish list. Morning and evening game drives are the optimum times of day for going to see the big five and a wide range of other species, so be prepared for that early morning wake-up call so that you can get out on the game viewing vehicle as the sun is rising. The other thing to check, it may sound obvious, but if you're booked to go to Etosha, don't expect to see the big five because the buffalo isn't present in Etosha, so do check that the safari you're booking is going to big five reserves if that is the top of your bucket list.
Always bearing in mind, especially with the big five, coming on safari with the likelihood of spotting them is great because you're providing critical funds required for the upkeep of the park, for the employment of the local communities within the lodges, with the guides, the constant education within the areas in terms of the good value that comes with having a national park in your area. Without safaris and without the tourism, we wouldn't have the industry. So yeah, please feel free to reach out, contact us, and we will advise you on further in terms of the big five, get you sorted with a safari program where the likelihood of you spotting the big five is going to be good. Nothing is ever guaranteed, but there's no bigger thrill than ticking off the big five on any first-time safari goers list. It truly is a spectacular experience. And with that, I'd like to bring an end to this specific episode. We'd like you to obviously like, subscribe and share. Please feel free to check out our reviews, what our clients have had to say about us over the last 20 years. Check out our newsletter, which comes out once a month. You can subscribe to via the link below. Also check out, we have a great 6-pod email course that you can subscribe to that will give you a very good overview of everything you will need to know in the safari industry. And that's a wrap.